Dr. Claire O'Connor, an accomplished archaeologist with a passion for unraveling ancient mysteries, arrives in the desolate Egyptian desert on a routine excavation. She's seeking clues about the construction of the Great Pyramid, but what she finds is far beyond what she imagined. On the third day of digging, while examining a cluster of untouched ruins near the base of the pyramid, Claire's shovel strikes something hard. At first, she thinks it's a stone slab, but when the dust settles, she uncovers a hidden chamber, sealed for millennia. Inside, an eerie silence greets her. Stay with me as we break it all down. But first, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our deep dives into world events. Let's get started. The air smells musty, like the remnants of long-forgotten secrets. The room is small, but in the center, resting upon a stone pedestal, is an ancient manuscript. Its parchment yellowed with age, its surface covered in an unidentifiable script. Claire's hands tremble as she carefully lifts it. The symbols, unlike any language she's ever seen, seem to pulse with an ancient energy, almost alive in their intricacy. Her heart races with excitement. This manuscript holds the promise of something far greater than just the pyramid's construction. It's a key, a map, perhaps even a prophecy. Yet something about it feels unsettling, as if the very air in the room has changed since she touched it. Claire takes the manuscript back to camp, where she begins the painstaking process of deciphering the symbols. After days of work, she stumbles upon a passage that shocks her to the core. The key to the hidden knowledge lies within the stones of the Great Pyramid. Follow the path beneath the Sphinx, and the truth shall be revealed. This cryptic line sends shivers down her spine. Claire knows this isn't just about the pyramids anymore. It's about uncovering something much larger, something the world isn't ready for. She realizes she can't do it alone. Reluctantly, she contacts Lucas Hunt, a well-known engineer whose skepticism of archaeology has often put them at odds, and Ethan Blackwell, a historian whose rogue research on ancient civilizations has always danced too closely to conspiracy theories. Together, they will have to decipher the manuscript and follow its instructions, despite the looming dangers. The mysterious manuscript becomes not just a clue, but the catalyst that will propel them into a shadowy world of secrets, forgotten histories, and a truth that could change the course of mankind. The Hidden Society. As Claire, Lucas, and Ethan begin translating the manuscript, they uncover a series of strange references that allude to a clandestine group, the Guardians of the True Past, tasked with preserving the secrets of the pyramids and the ancient technologies hidden within them. These Guardians are not simply a group of scholars or archaeologists. They are powerful figures who have operated in the shadows for centuries, influencing history, culture, and even the course of entire civilizations to maintain their control over the world's most dangerous secrets. The trio initially dismisses these references as the ramblings of an ancient cult, but as they delve deeper, they find evidence suggesting the Guardians are real and still active today. The manuscript reveals their ancient oath to guard the past at all costs, and warns that the truth, if uncovered, could bring untold consequences. The team begins to piece together a chilling narrative. The Guardians have been manipulating history, erasing certain events and facts, ensuring that only a select few have access to the true knowledge of the pyramid's construction. Their first real confrontation with the Guardians occurs when Claire receives an anonymous letter, sealed with an ancient emblem she recognizes from the manuscript. The message inside is clear and chilling. Cease your search. The truth is not for you. Claire dismisses the letter as a warning, but as the days pass, strange occurrences plague their expedition. Their equipment is tampered with, research is erased from their computers, and unsettling figures begin watching their every move. During one late-night study session, Ethan uncovers an encrypted journal belonging to a previous archaeologist who had mysteriously disappeared. The journal hints at an underground network of guardians who have infiltrated institutions around the world, from museums to universities, from powerful corporations to government agencies. It becomes clear that the team is being watched by forces beyond their control. As the team grows more suspicious, they begin to question the intentions of everyone around them. Is there someone within their own ranks working against them? Are the dangers they face simply coincidence, or is there something more sinister at play? Claire becomes determined to push forward, but the stakes are higher than she realized. Not only must they now outwit the Guardians, but they must also navigate a web of lies and deceit that stretches across centuries. Ethan becomes particularly obsessed with uncovering more about the Guardians' true influence. His research leads him to a startling discovery. A secret society, operating under the guise of legitimate archaeological organizations, has been protecting ancient artifacts that could expose the existence of extraterrestrial life. Artifacts believed to be tied to the pyramids. With every new clue, the walls close in around the team, and they realize they are not just uncovering a mystery. They are unlocking a conspiracy that could alter the very foundation of civilization. In a tense confrontation, the team narrowly escapes a dangerous encounter with members of the Guardians, but they now know they are no longer safe. The only option is to continue their quest for the truth, even as the looming threat of the Guardians' interference becomes a constant and deadly presence. The technology of the gods. The deeper the team digs into the mysteries of the manuscript, the more they begin to unravel the incredible nature of the pyramid's construction. Late one evening, while analyzing a series of strange mechanical symbols on the manuscript's final pages, Claire stumbles upon a diagram that seems to depict an energy device, something that, according to the drawing, could channel immense power. It is unmistakably advanced, with parts that seem far beyond anything from the time of the pyramids. The discovery leads the team to a hidden chamber beneath the Great Pyramid itself, one that had remained sealed for centuries. The chamber, cloaked in shadow, feels different from any they've encountered before. There is a palpable energy in the air, an electric hum, almost as if the space is alive. At the center of the room lies a massive, perfectly preserved artifact, its shape vaguely resembling a large crystal, embedded in an intricately designed stone structure. The team is struck by the extraordinary nature of the artifact. Claire touches it cautiously, and immediately the entire room lights up with a faint blue glow, revealing intricate carvings and mechanical elements around the edges of the stone. Lucas, the engineer, examines the artifact closely, his scientific mind struggling to grasp what he's seeing. The design is based on principles that don't exist in any known technology. Magnets, energy fields, and circuits are incorporated in ways that defy the understanding of modern physics. The energy this device seems to harness is unlike anything they've encountered, and the realization hits them. The pyramid wasn't just a tomb. It was part of a far larger, more complex machine. Over the course of several days, the team carefully works to study and interact with the artifact, attempting to replicate its function. They manage to activate a low-level power pulse, sending a ripple through the walls of the chamber. It's then that they realize the true purpose of the pyramids. They were not only a marvel of architecture, but also sophisticated energy generators, potentially tapping into a hidden, almost supernatural force. But the more they learn, the more they understand the danger of their findings. This technology isn't just a relic of the past. It could potentially shift the balance of power in the world today. Ethan, ever the historian, begins to connect the dots to ancient myths. The artifact's power, he theorizes, could be linked to ancient gods or extraterrestrial beings whose knowledge and influence helped shape human civilization. The pyramids were never merely monuments to pharaohs. They were conduits for energies that could manipulate time, space, and reality itself. As they experiment with the artifact, they unlock an unsettling truth. The power it channels is not just physical, but something far more intangible. A force that seems to link the ancient past with distant, perhaps even extraterrestrial, civilizations. They realize that whoever controlled this technology in the past may have been able to control the world. Yet, their continued attempts to understand the artifact attract the attention of more than just the Guardians. A shadowy figure, a former colleague of Claire's who disappeared under mysterious circumstances years ago, contacts them with an ominous warning. He claims that this energy source is unstable, capable of creating a cataclysmic event if misused. The team now faces a moral dilemma. Should they push forward with their research, risking the potential to unlock a global catastrophe, or abandon the investigation before it's too late? As they grow closer to understanding the full scope of the pyramid's purpose, they realize that the ancient technology isn't just about power. It's about control. Control of human civilization's greatest secrets. And the question now haunting them is, if they succeed in uncovering these secrets, will they be able to handle the power they are about to unleash? Secrets of the Pharaohs. The team's understanding of the pyramid's purpose deepens as they begin to connect the advanced technology of the artifact to something far more ancient and far more chilling. After months of research, Ethan uncovers a long-lost royal tomb in the vicinity of the Great Pyramid, hidden beneath layers of sand and debris. The tomb, sealed off from history's prying eyes for millennia, is unlike any other they've found. It's not just the grandeur of the burial chamber that makes it remarkable, but what they find inside, a perfectly preserved body, not that of a pharaoh, but of an unknown figure, dressed in intricate otherworldly attire. The figure is strangely tall, with features that don't align with the known depictions of ancient Egyptians. The garments are unlike anything ever discovered in a royal tomb, embroidered with symbols that don't appear to be Egyptian in origin, symbols that Ethan recognizes from earlier manuscripts he's encountered. These symbols are eerily similar to those found in the diagrams of the energy device from the Great Pyramid. As the team carefully examines the body, Claire notices something that sends a chill down her spine. The figure's eyes are not only open, but appear to have been intentionally preserved in an unnatural state. Focused, alert, and aware, as though the individual was meant to be awakened at a later time. This odd preservation process is something Claire has never seen before, and suggests a far more advanced understanding of both medicine and mysticism than the ancient Egyptians ever possessed. Ethan and Claire decide to investigate further, piecing together the fragmented clues that surround the tomb. They uncover a series of tablets carved into the walls, written in a language neither of them can read. But when Claire touches one of the inscriptions, it activates an ancient mechanism, causing a hidden panel in the wall to slide open. Behind it, they find an ancient device, intricately designed and strangely familiar to the one they discovered beneath the Great Pyramid, a device that, upon closer inspection, bears the same markings and symbols as the body's unusual attire. The discovery is both a revelation and a warning. The figure in the tomb, Claire surmises, could not have been Egyptian. He might have been a priest or scholar from an even older civilization, one that predates Egypt itself. Ethan's theory grows darker. The body may have been intentionally preserved for a reason, not to rest in peace, but to serve a more sinister purpose, as though the individual were a guardian of forbidden knowledge meant to be revived at a time when the world was ready to receive it. In a moment of epiphany, Ethan connects the dots between this figure and the legend of the sky gods in ancient Egyptian myth. The sky gods were believed to have descended from the heavens and given knowledge to the early Egyptians, sharing with them the secrets of building the pyramids, controlling energy, and manipulating time. Ethan suspects that the mysterious figure could have been one of these gods, or someone from a time long before recorded history, someone who might have had direct contact with extraterrestrial beings. His wild theories begin to feel less like conspiracy and more like truth, as they uncover evidence that this figure may have been involved in the creation of the pyramid itself. Suddenly, a terrifying realization sets in. The tomb, the figure, and the technology are not random. They are all part of a much larger puzzle, a cosmic plan. The pyramids were never intended to serve as mere burial sites. They were built as beacons, or perhaps even as prisons, for ancient beings who once held the power to manipulate the world as they saw fit. The true purpose of the pyramid was to contain something far greater than any pharaoh or mortal ruler, an energy that could change the very fabric of reality. Now, the team is faced with an impossible question. What if the figure in the tomb is not just a priest or scholar, but something far more dangerous? What if, like the pyramid itself, he was meant to serve as a key to unlocking a power that could obliterate humanity? Their quest for knowledge now takes on a terrifying urgency, because the ancient secrets they are uncovering may be best left forgotten. Lucas's betrayal. As the team inches closer to unlocking the pyramid's ultimate secrets, the tension among them grows. The discoveries are far beyond anything they had anticipated, and with each new revelation, the danger becomes more apparent. The weight of their knowledge begins to take a toll on Lucas. The pragmatic engineer, who once dismissed the idea of ancient alien technologies as nonsense, is now grappling with the reality of what they are uncovering. While Claire and Ethan grow increasingly convinced of the importance of their mission, Lucas begins to question whether they are heading down a dangerous path, one that could lead to the very destruction of civilization itself. Lucas, whose skepticism about the supernatural and unexplainable has always been a defining characteristic, starts to feel out of place. He's the only one of the group who doesn't fully buy into the idea of extraterrestrial influence, and with the mounting pressure, he grows frustrated with the increasing risks they are taking. His sense of security, built on logic and engineering principles, starts to unravel as the artifact's powers and the mysteries surrounding the pyramids become more undeniable. More troubling, however, is the strain this puts on his relationship with Claire, whom he respects but can no longer completely trust. In a quiet moment, away from the others, Lucas is approached by a mysterious figure. A man cloaked in shadows, with a voice that seems both familiar and haunting. The man identifies himself as a member of the Guardians, and he offers Lucas a deal. He promises Lucas the protection of his career, power beyond measure, and the promise of an influential position in a world that controls knowledge, if only Lucas will turn his back on Claire and Ethan. All Lucas has to do is sabotage their efforts, feeding them false information to delay their progress, and ensuring the Guardians maintain control over the secrets of the pyramids. At first, Lucas hesitates. He knows the stakes are high, but the idea of being part of something larger, something that could secure his future, is tempting. His doubts about the mission and the extreme risks they are taking make the offer seem appealing. The man promises that if Lucas cooperates, the truth about the pyramids will be kept hidden from the world, protecting humanity from the power they could not understand. But if Lucas refuses, the consequences could be catastrophic, not just for the team, but for the entire world. In a moment of weakness, Lucas agrees to the deal. He begins secretly working against the team, planting misleading clues in their research, diverting their attention away from key discoveries, and even subtly sabotaging their efforts to access the final chambers of the pyramid. His betrayal is subtle at first: small tweaks to their equipment, cryptic suggestions during meetings, but as time goes on, Claire and Ethan begin to notice inconsistencies. Research notes go missing, documents are altered, and their progress seems unnaturally slow. What had once been a fast-moving, high-stakes quest for answers now feels like a drawn-out battle against unseen forces. The tension between Lucas and the team escalates as Claire begins to sense something is wrong. She confronts him directly, demanding answers. Lucas denies everything, masking his guilt with feigned concern and growing impatience. His calm demeanor only makes Claire more suspicious, and as she digs deeper, she uncovers traces of his secret dealings with the Guardians. She is devastated by the betrayal, not just because Lucas is working against them, but because he was the one person she thought she could trust implicitly. Her instincts tell her something is terribly wrong, and the once close bond they shared begins to fracture. Ethan, sensing the growing mistrust, begins to suspect Lucas more openly, especially after he finds traces of encrypted messages on Lucas's phone. Messages that link directly back to the Guardians. The discovery of this secret correspondence forces Ethan to confront Lucas in a tense, explosive showdown. The confrontation is filled with rage and emotion as Ethan demands to know why Lucas has turned on them. Lucas's deflective answers only make the truth more undeniable. In the aftermath of the confrontation, Claire is faced with a difficult choice. She cannot trust Lucas any longer, but they are running out of time to uncover the pyramid's final secrets. With the Guardians closing in, the team is torn between confronting Lucas fully and continuing the mission without him. But the damage is done. Lucas's betrayal has shattered the team's unity, and now, more than ever, they must rely on each other, and the very knowledge they've uncovered, to survive the treacherous path ahead. As Lucas's motives become clearer, and his ties to the Guardians more undeniable, the team must grapple with the possibility that their enemy is not only watching from the shadows, they have someone in their midst, working from the inside to prevent them from unlocking the world-altering secrets that the pyramids hold. The stakes have never been higher, and the question now looms: will Claire and Ethan be able to trust each other enough to uncover the truth? Or will Lucas's betrayal be their undoing? Ethan's family secret. As the pressure mounts and the team grapples with Lucas's betrayal, an unexpected revelation shakes their foundation even further. Ethan Blackwell's personal connection to the Guardians runs deeper than anyone could have imagined. The truth comes to light when Ethan stumbles upon a series of old letters hidden in the back of his family's library. They were written by his great-grandfather, Samuel Blackwell, a renowned archaeologist from the early 20th century, whose disappearance had long been considered a mystery. What Ethan doesn't know, however, is that his great-grandfather was not just a scholar of ancient cultures, but one of the founding members of the Guardians of the True Past. The letters, dated decades before Ethan was born, reveal a chilling truth. Samuel Blackwell had unearthed powerful artifacts tied to the pyramids, some of which were far too dangerous for the public to know about. Samuel had been tasked by the Guardians to protect these artifacts and ensure that the world never learned of the energy they contained. The letters also hint at a deep conspiracy, revealing that Samuel had been involved in secret negotiations with various world governments and shadow organizations, all working to suppress knowledge of the pyramid's true purpose. As Ethan reads through the letters, he uncovers a disturbing pattern. His great-grandfather, once a staunch defender of knowledge and scientific discovery, had slowly become consumed by the power and influence of the Guardians. The letters speak of Ethan's own bloodline being part of a secret lineage, one that is intertwined with the ancient forces tied to the pyramids. Samuel's final words hint that his grandson, Ethan, would be the one to either unlock or destroy the power of the pyramids, depending on which path he chose. The revelation hits Ethan like a thunderbolt. For years, he had prided himself on being an independent historian, uncovering lost secrets on his own terms. But now, it seems his every move had been part of a far greater plan, one set into motion long before he ever picked up a book on ancient Egypt. The letters suggest that Ethan's family was always meant to play a pivotal role in the unraveling of the pyramids' mysteries. His great-grandfather had even gone so far as to ensure that the knowledge would be passed down to Ethan directly, as though he were destined to carry out the final chapter of the Guardian's secret history. Ethan's internal conflict intensifies. On one hand, he feels a deep sense of betrayal. The Guardians, a group he had initially thought of as a mere fringe theory, are now linked directly to his own lineage. On the other hand, he realizes the enormity of his role in this grand puzzle. The Guardians had been preparing for this moment for generations, and Ethan had unknowingly been groomed to fulfill their ultimate purpose. This discovery causes a rift between Ethan and Claire, who now sees him not as an ally, but as someone potentially tied to the very conspiracy they've been fighting against. She demands answers from him, confronting him with the shocking truth of his family's legacy. Ethan, torn between his loyalty to the team and the weight of his heritage, tries to explain that he had no idea about his grandfather's involvement in the Guardians, but Claire is unconvinced. She feels betrayed not just by Lucas, but by Ethan as well. His ties to the Guardians make him, in her eyes, just as much of a threat to their mission as their former teammate. In the midst of this turmoil, Ethan is contacted by a mysterious figure claiming to be a representative of the Guardians. The figure, using a voice modifier, speaks cryptically of Ethan's destiny and warns him that he must decide quickly. The pyramid is not just a symbol of the past, it is the gateway to the future. Your bloodline holds the key, but with it comes a terrible price. Choose wisely, for once the power is unlocked, there will be no turning back. Ethan begins to question everything he thought he knew about the pyramids and the Guardians. His family's legacy might be more than just a coincidence. It could be his curse. The fate of the team now hinges on whether Ethan will embrace his destiny as the heir to the ancient power or rebel against the legacy that has been thrust upon him. But even more ominously, Ethan wonders if the Guardians have been grooming him for something darker, something far more dangerous than he could ever imagine. As the team faces mounting threats, including the increasingly erratic behavior of Lucas, the lines between allies and enemies blur. Claire begins to see Ethan in a new light, torn between trusting him and fearing that he may be a Trojan horse in their midst. Ethan, now fully aware of his unique role in the unfolding drama, must choose between loyalty to his family's legacy and loyalty to the team. But no matter what choice he makes, the path ahead will alter the course of history and could have devastating consequences for the world. The global conspiracy. The deeper the team delves into the pyramid's secrets, the more they realize that they are not alone in their quest for knowledge. What started as a search for ancient truths quickly grows into a global struggle for control over a power that could reshape the world. As they piece together the scattered fragments of the manuscript and cross-reference ancient texts, the team uncovers a terrifying web of influence. The Guardians, far from being a lone secret society, are merely one piece of a vast global conspiracy that spans centuries. Through their research, Ethan uncovers evidence that the Guardians have infiltrated key institutions around the world. Governments, corporations, universities, even major religious organizations. These institutions have all kept knowledge of the pyramid's true purpose under wraps for centuries, maintaining the status quo while quietly manipulating events behind the scenes. The Guardian's power is not just about protecting ancient artifacts, it's about controlling the flow of knowledge itself. And the reason they've gone to such lengths to suppress the truth becomes horrifyingly clear. The power hidden within the pyramids isn't just a historical artifact. It's an energy source, one capable of altering the very balance of power in the modern world. The team discovers that certain world leaders and corporate moguls have been secretly working with the Guardians, ensuring that any discoveries that threaten to reveal the pyramid's true nature are swiftly silenced. Historical events, they realize, were subtly influenced by the Guardians to maintain their control over knowledge. Wars, financial crises, and political upheavals were not just the result of chance. They were carefully orchestrated moves on a global chessboard, with the ultimate goal of keeping the pyramid's energy hidden. As Claire, Lucas, and Ethan dig deeper into the conspiracy, they find chilling links between the pyramid's energy and some of the most powerful scientific and technological advancements of the 20th and 21st centuries. The race to develop nuclear energy, space exploration, and even breakthroughs in artificial intelligence were not purely driven by human ambition, but by the influence of those who understood the pyramid's true potential. The conspirators, including members of the Guardians, have used these discoveries as a cover, quietly advancing their own agenda, while ensuring the energy source's power remains firmly in their grasp. The team uncovers a chilling theory. The Great Pyramid was never just a symbol of Egyptian civilization, but a key to a much larger global network of ancient sites. The energy source buried within the pyramid is connected to other structures across the world: Mesoamerican pyramids, ancient ruins in Europe, and even distant megalithic sites in the Pacific and the Himalayas. These sites were part of a global civilization, one that predated recorded history, and were designed to harness a cosmic energy field capable of manipulating time, space, and even consciousness itself. With this knowledge in hand, Claire and Ethan realize that the pyramid is not merely a relic of the past, it is part of an ancient global infrastructure, a tool that once united civilizations under a single, powerful force. And if the energy hidden within the pyramid is unleashed, it could unite the world again, but not in the way anyone expects. The consequences of unlocking this power could be catastrophic, either leading to a utopian global order or to a new form of totalitarian control, depending on who holds the reins. But their discovery comes with a terrible price. The team's efforts to expose the conspiracy are met with increasingly violent resistance. As they try to warn the world of the looming danger, the Guardians take drastic measures to silence them. Their base of operations is attacked by shadowy operatives, and Claire barely escapes with her life. Lucas, torn between his loyalty to the team and his allegiance to the Guardians, struggles with the weight of his betrayal. But it's clear now that he is just a pawn in a much larger game. The team learns that the conspiracy stretches beyond the Guardians alone. A secret global alliance made up of influential politicians, military leaders, and industrial magnates has been watching their every move. These individuals, knowing the truth about the pyramids and their power, will stop at nothing to ensure that the knowledge remains hidden. Their reach extends into every corner of society, from global finance to military operations, and they will not hesitate to eliminate anyone who threatens their stranglehold on this ancient power. In a desperate bid to survive, the team realizes that they cannot expose the conspiracy without exposing themselves to danger. They are being hunted by forces far more powerful than they ever anticipated. Their only option is to go underground, continuing their investigation in secret. knowing that every step they take brings them closer to a truth that could either save the world or plunge it into chaos. The global conspiracy is now out in the open, but it's clear that revealing it to the world is a death sentence. The pyramid's secrets, once thought to be ancient history, are at the heart of a modern struggle for control over the future. As the team races against time, they must find a way to outsmart the conspiracy, uncover the full extent of the pyramid's power, and decide whether the world is ready for the truth, or if it is better left buried forever. The rising tide of power. As the stakes continue to escalate, the team grows increasingly aware that they are not just racing against time, but against an unseen force that controls the very fabric of global power. The more they uncover about the pyramid's true purpose, the clearer it becomes that they are playing a dangerous game with forces beyond their control. The energy concealed within the pyramid is not merely an artifact of the past. It is a dormant power capable of reshaping the course of human history. And now, with the Guardians closing in on them, the team must decide whether to unlock this ancient energy or prevent it from falling into the wrong hands. Claire, Ethan, and Lucas are forced to confront the terrifying implications of what they have uncovered. The pyramid's energy source, if fully activated, could revolutionize the world, bringing about an era of limitless energy, technology, and even transcendence. Yet, the potential for misuse is equally staggering. The team realizes that whoever controls the pyramid's power could become a tyrant, capable of rewriting history, manipulating economies, or even reshaping the very laws of physics. The Guardians, with their centuries of influence and their deep ties to the most powerful people on Earth, are already positioning themselves to be the ones who hold this power. As the team discusses their next move, Ethan reveals something that shocks them all. His own family, the Blackwell lineage, has been secretly tracking the pyramid's energy for generations, and they had long understood its potential. Ethan's great-grandfather, Samuel Blackwell, was not just a guardian of the past. He was part of a larger plan to harness this energy, but also to safeguard it from those who would misuse it. The original purpose of the pyramid, as understood by his family, was not just to preserve knowledge, but to act as a beacon for a greater cosmic alignment. Ethan's family had believed that the activation of the pyramid's energy would usher in a new age of humanity, but only if the correct people were in control. This revelation fractures the team further. Claire, who has been so focused on the moral imperative of unlocking the pyramid's knowledge for the benefit of all, is now confronted with the darker reality that the very power they seek to unleash could be disastrous in the wrong hands. Lucas, still reeling from his earlier betrayal and his connection to the Guardians, begins to question if he made a grave mistake by siding with them. While part of him remains loyal to the power and security that the Guardians offer, he cannot ignore the growing realization that their mission is not one of progress, but control. As they prepare for their final push to uncover the pyramid's ultimate secret, the team is thrust into a new crisis. A massive global shift begins to take place, triggered by the hidden knowledge of the pyramid. Unmarked ships start appearing along coastlines. Large corporations shift their focus to energy monopolies, and certain world leaders, once seemingly uninvolved, begin to consolidate power with alarming speed. It is clear now that the Guardians are not just interested in preserving ancient history. They are preparing to use the pyramid's power to impose a new global order, one that will keep them in control indefinitely. In the midst of this growing global unrest, Claire and Ethan realize that unlocking the pyramid's full potential might be the only way to prevent the Guardians from using it to subjugate the world. But doing so means confronting the unimaginable. Activating the power of the pyramid could not only expose them to the Guardians' wrath, but could very well destabilize the entire world. If the pyramid's energy does indeed link to other ancient sites around the globe, it could trigger a chain reaction that either unites humanity in a new age of enlightenment or plunges it into chaos. Claire is torn, unable to reconcile the potential benefits of this power with the consequences of unleashing it. Her desire to free the world from the grip of those who control knowledge clashes with the undeniable reality that this energy is far too potent for any one group to wield. And yet, as the world around them begins to shift, she knows that they are now in a race against not only the Guardians, but the global powers preparing to take control of the pyramid's secrets. Ethan, caught between his inherited loyalty to his family's legacy and his growing realization of the dangers posed by the Guardians, contemplates a shocking decision: to use the pyramid's energy to reshape the world on his own terms. But as he contemplates this possibility, the gravity of his family's involvement weighs heavily on him. Is it his destiny to follow the path laid by his ancestors, or will he find another way? The final showdown looms as the team must confront the true nature of the pyramid's power. But as the tide of global power rises, they realize that unlocking this ancient energy will not be a simple choice between good and evil. It will be a decision that could alter the entire course of humanity, for better or worse. The rising tide of power is inevitable, but who will control it, and at what cost, is a question that will soon be answered. The fate of the world is now in their hands. The final chamber. After months of evading the Guardians, struggling with betrayal, and contending with the mounting pressure of global conspiracies, the team finally reaches the heart of the Great Pyramid. The discovery of the last chamber, hidden deep within the pyramid's core, is a moment of triumph. Yet, it feels more like a journey's end than a victory. They've survived countless near-death encounters, uncovered secrets that defy logic, and now stand at the precipice of unlocking the ultimate truth about the pyramid's purpose. But as they approach the final threshold, the weight of what lies ahead looms larger than ever before. The chamber is vast, far larger than any they've encountered within the pyramid's labyrinthine passages. The walls are covered in intricate carvings, far more detailed and alien in nature than anything they've seen before. Unlike the other rooms, this one is alive with energy. The very air pulses with a low, resonant hum, like the heartbeat of something far greater than themselves. At the center of the room lies an enormous stone altar, the surface etched with symbols that match those of the ancient artifact they uncovered earlier. This altar is not just a place of worship, it is the control mechanism, the key to unlocking the pyramid's ultimate power. As Claire, Ethan, and Lucas approach the altar, they realize that this is not just another chamber. It is the culmination of everything they've discovered. The pyramid was never simply a tomb or a monument, it was a gateway. But to what? The artifact they found beneath the Great Pyramid and the mysterious manuscript Claire uncovered all point to the altar as the conduit for the power that has been dormant for millennia. The team understands now that this energy is not just a passive force, it's a cosmic key that could either bind the world together or tear it apart. Before they can make their final move, however, they are confronted with an unexpected challenge. A strange, almost supernatural force pulses through the room. The Guardians, aware that the team has reached the final chamber, have arrived. As the team stands frozen, unsure of their next step, a figure steps out from the shadows. An elder Guardian, one who has been pulling the strings from behind the scenes for decades. He is the one who has been orchestrating everything. The puppet master who has kept the secrets of the pyramids hidden for so long. His name is revealed as Arminius, the ancient leader of the Guardians, and he offers the team a chilling ultimatum. "The power of the pyramid is not meant for your world," he says, his voice cold and authoritative. "You cannot comprehend the forces you are about to unleash. If you activate this energy, you will bring about a cataclysm. Humanity is not ready. The Guardians have kept it locked away for a reason." Ethan, now fully aware of his family's deep ties to the Guardians, stands frozen in place. The weight of his legacy presses down on him, and he realizes that Arminius speaks not just from a position of power, but from experience. The pyramid's energy has the potential to either save or destroy the world, and perhaps the universe itself. Ethan's decision now carries the fate of all humanity. Claire, her resolve hardened by the months of struggle, steps forward. "We've seen enough," she says. "The knowledge you've kept hidden is too important to be buried. Humanity deserves the chance to evolve, to harness this energy responsibly. You cannot keep it from the world forever." Lucas, torn between his loyalty to the team and his complicated ties to the Guardians, faces his own crisis of conscience. He knows that the Guardians will stop at nothing to protect the secret of the pyramids, but he also understands the potential consequences of their control. If the Guardians succeed in keeping this power hidden, they will continue their grip on humanity, controlling knowledge and innovation for their own gain. His betrayal of the team now weighs heavily on him, and he faces the ultimate test of his moral compass. In an unexpected twist, it is Lucas who makes the first move. As Arminius approaches the altar, preparing to activate a defensive mechanism to prevent the team from accessing the pyramid's energy, Lucas steps in front of him, blocking his path. The Guardians, momentarily stunned, hesitate. "You're wrong," Lucas says, his voice filled with newfound determination. "The world can't keep living in the shadows. I made a mistake. The truth needs to be set free." With his decision made, Lucas helps Claire and Ethan activate the altar. The room comes alive with a brilliant, blinding light as the pyramid's energy is unlocked. The hum grows louder, more intense, reverberating through their bones. The altar seems to pulse with a life of its own, its stone surface crackling with electric energy. And then, just as the pyramid's power begins to fully awaken, the air shifts. An unexpected force surges through the chamber, knocking everyone to the ground. The walls seem to bend and warp as the energy begins to coalesce, creating a swirling vortex at the center of the room. The pyramid's power is no longer a dormant artifact. It is a living, breathing force, one that bridges the past and the future. Time and space itself seem to fracture as the team is pulled into the heart of the vortex. In a final, desperate moment, Claire, Ethan, and Lucas realize what they have done. They have unlocked something far more than just an ancient energy source. They have triggered a shift in reality itself. The pyramid's power is not merely a tool for control. It is a force capable of rewriting the fabric of existence. The energy has the potential to reshape time, to pull the world into a new age, or to destroy everything in its path. With the final chamber now fully activated, the team faces an impossible choice. They can either control the energy, using it to guide humanity into a new era, or they can destroy it, ensuring that its power never falls into the wrong hands, but at the cost of the greatest discovery in human history. The final decision lies with them, and as the energy swirls around them, they are left with one ultimate question. Will the world be ready to wield this power, or will it tear itself apart in the process? The fate of all humanity rests in their hands. The shocking finale. The energy from the pyramid pulses violently around them, its powerful force bending the very fabric of reality. The chamber is alive with light, swirling in iridescent hues as time and space stretch and warp. The team stands on the precipice of a decision that could either usher in a new era or plunge the world into unimaginable chaos. The ancient force that has been dormant for millennia now teems with life, its potential both a beacon of hope and a harbinger of destruction. Claire, Ethan, and Lucas must decide whether they can harness this energy or destroy it once and for all. As the vortex of energy grows stronger, Claire feels a deep sense of urgency. The pyramid, the artifact, the manuscript, all of it has been leading to this moment. The choices they make now will determine not only their fates, but the future of humanity. There is no turning back. Ethan, his thoughts racing, stands frozen between the two conflicting desires within him, his inherited loyalty to the Guardians and his deep belief in the need for humanity to evolve beyond its limitations. His great-grandfather had always believed in the potential of this power, but the revelations of the past few months have shown him the dangers of absolute control. The Guardians had kept this power hidden for centuries to prevent its misuse, but Ethan now realizes that control over such energy is not meant for any one group. It must belong to all of humanity, or it will destroy them. But Claire, with her deep understanding of history and humanity's potential for both greatness and ruin, has a different perspective. "We don't know what we're dealing with," she says, her voice strained as she tries to stay calm amid the chaos. "We have to destroy it before it's too late. This power is too dangerous to fall into the wrong hands, and the world is not ready to control it." Lucas, torn by his past betrayal, now steps forward with a newfound clarity. The Guardians, the secret society that once seemed so alluring, now feels like a cage, a prison of knowledge used to manipulate and control. "We can't just let them keep it buried forever. Humanity deserves to have a choice," he says, his voice firm, though laced with regret. "If we don't act now, they'll take control. They'll make sure no one ever has the chance to know the truth." The tension in the room is palpable. The team is divided, each holding their belief that they are making the right decision, yet each aware of the risks they are about to take. The pyramid's power hums louder, the vortex of energy growing more erratic. A harsh wind begins to whip through the chamber, as if the very air is reacting to their indecision. The walls of the pyramid seem to shake, and the ground beneath them cracks, splitting in several places as the cosmic energy begins to tear at the fabric of reality itself. In a dramatic turn, the Guardians, led by the elder Arminius, break through the chamber's entrance. They have arrived, fully armed, prepared to stop the team at any cost. Arminius, his face grim, stands tall before them. "You think you can control it?" he sneers. "You are fools. This power is beyond you. It is not for humanity. It was never meant to be. You will destroy yourselves." As the Guardians advance, it becomes clear that the decision has been made for them. The pyramid's energy is surging beyond their control, and the team realizes that they must act now, before the Guardians seize it or the pyramid implodes under its own power. In a final act of defiance, Lucas, who has shifted loyalties entirely, steps toward the altar with Claire and Ethan, all three of them working in unison to release the full force of the pyramid's power. But just as they reach the altar, the energy explodes outward in a cataclysmic release. A blinding flash of light engulfs the entire chamber, the pyramid trembling as the ground beneath them fractures violently. Time seems to bend and stretch. In that moment, the team experiences something they could never have imagined. Visions of humanity's potential, both its utopian future and its darkest path, flash before their eyes. They witness the rise of a new age, one where this energy could heal the planet, solve the world's energy crises, and unite the people of the Earth. but they also see the destruction it could bring, an era of control, subjugation, and terror, where the pyramid's power is used to manipulate and dominate. In the midst of this overwhelming vision, the team realizes the truth. The pyramid's energy is not something to be controlled. It is something to be freed. It must not be used by any one person or group, but instead allowed to flow freely to guide humanity toward its own evolution. The key is not to lock it away, nor to use it for power, but to release it into the world, with the understanding that only by sharing it and respecting its potential will humanity avoid the fate of destruction. With a final push, they manage to trigger the release of the pyramid's energy, the vast cosmic force cascading outward into the sky. The chamber begins to crumble as the energy shifts into a pure, radiant light, illuminating the entire desert. The pyramid begins to collapse in on itself, no longer needed to house the power it once contained. The team, weakened and exhausted, barely manages to escape as the world around them begins to change. As the dust settles, the world outside is forever altered. The pyramid lies in ruins, but the power it once held has been freed into the world. The question remains, will humanity rise to meet its new destiny, or will it fall prey to the same destructive tendencies that plagued it in the past? In the aftermath, Claire, Ethan, and Lucas stand at the edge of the desert, watching the sunrise. They have survived, but their journey is far from over. The world is different now, and they know that their actions have changed the course of history. The pyramid's secrets are no longer hidden, but the true test is just beginning. Can the world handle the power that has been unleashed? The three of them look toward the horizon, knowing that their paths have diverged, but the choices they've made will resonate through the ages. The story of the pyramids is far from finished. It's only just beginning. And with that, the final twist in the saga of the ancient pyramids has been written, leaving the future uncertain, yet filled with endless possibilities.